We talk a lot about the Bengals, right? But I feel like we need to put more of a focus on the fact that the Bengals had one win in their division
Yeah.
last year. I've talked about it before. And when I look at it, I say, that's unacceptable. We can't struggle in the AFC North the way that we did and expect to finally break through. That just can't be the case, right? I think we're all in agreement here. If the Bengals want to do something special, you have to do yeah. Simone knows Malik, as Simone says. Uh if the Bengals want to do something special, they have to take care of business at home first. And I've given my rants. I've talked about it at an nauseating pace. But I do want to talk about some of the teams that in our division that might scare us, or maybe you don't scare us. Maybe they just make us feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I'll start with the team that makes me uncomfortable in our division. And I'm going to go with the Browns. I am going to go with the Browns. And it shouldn't be the Browns. Let me just say that. It should not be the Cleveland Browns. But for some reason, we've struggled with the Cleveland Browns. They tend to have our number. They tend to get up with these leads and they control the game. And we just never seem to really be able to make our mark in the game. Now, you hope with the addition on the offensive line, with the additions that were made to the wide receiver room, you hope that maybe this is the year where the Bengals can sort of, I just want to see what the Bengals look like controlling the game against the Cleveland Browns. Will it look drastically different versus playing from behind, versus letting the Cleveland Browns get up to a lead? And they're taking chunks and chunks and chunks. Because I feel like the Cleveland Browns are not built to play from behind. I don't feel like they're built to play from behind. And I feel like every single time we preview games, like we do each and every single week the Bengals are in season, we talk about it. Hey, the Bengals, the key to beating the Cleveland Browns is to get ahead, right? And then go from there, make them play from behind. And we just never see that manifest itself. So when I look at it, I say, hey, can the Bengals finally break through and beat the Cleveland Browns this year? I think I feel better with the additions that were made, but still, it's one of those things you got to show me. I got to see it. I got to see it in its glory. I've got to see the Bengals be able to take advantage. We talk about the Bengals having such a great offense. And then when it gets to the AFC North matches, we're like, well, that's the AFC North. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that this year. Because I do think that the Bengals have a lot of strengths that they can take advantage of when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. I really do. I really believe that. And it's just a matter of, okay, what's it going to take for them to break through? Are they going to be able to get a lead early? And I agree with Yehuda MD in the comment section says Bill Callahan is gone. Yeah, but I don't think Bill Callahan was necessarily the reason why all the time. I mean, he's a damn great offensive line coach, but I think it comes down to the Bengals' execution. Now, you can say, oh, well, Malik, remember, Joe Burrow had his calf injury, so he didn't play like himself. But I think sometimes, like, you guys ever remember growing up and, you're scared of the monster under your bed? Remember that?
Yeah.
You're scared of the dark. Me, I was never scared of the dark, never scared of no monster under my bed. I was more so scared of tornadoes and, planes and stuff and weird shit happening. That's what I was worried about. But sometimes we kind of can get in our own way about things. Evan, you sat on the plane ride with me. You know how I am. Sometimes I start panicking. I'm like, oh man.
Is this normal? Is this turbulence normal? Are we sure this is the right amount of turbulence?
This is like
Exactly.
supposed to happen. But I think sometimes we do that with Myles Garrett. I think sometimes the Bengals do that. Myles Garrett is a damn good player. But it's almost like what teams used to do when they used to face Darrell Revis. Remember that, Ev? And look,
yeah.
You're probably a little too young.
For Revis Island?
Okay. Oh, so you know about that. Okay. Cool.
But I was gonna say, how old were you?
They used to
6,
shut
7?
down. You can't shut down half of your, half of the field, or take your offensive playbook and shrink it because we're so scared of the big bad Myles Garrett. We're so scared of him. If he's gonna sack your quarterback, he's gonna sack your damn quarterback. It's the game of football. The defense is gonna win some reps. We're gonna win some reps sometimes. Let's not make it more than what it is, but let's shade some protection over his side to make it eat. Just run your damn offense. And sometimes I think we just get in our own way when it comes to some of these quote unquote elite passers. But then you know what's crazy? They'll go against a damn Nick Bosa and be like, nah, we're running our offense.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Great. No, not a care in the world. That's just my thoughts. The Browns are my team that I think that I view as a threat to the Bengals, not to the AFC North, to the Bengals, right? And I think that when we talk about the margin of error in the AFC North, a loss or two to the Cleveland Browns could dictate if you win the division or not. But Evan Hartman, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had the Browns as well.
Oh,
It was
wow, okay.
I was deciding between the Browns and the Ravens.
Mhm.
But kind of what you said at the end, it was more of a threat to the Bengals than the Ravens. And like you said, the Browns have always had the Bengals number. Look at the first game of the year. I mean, 24-3 is unacceptable against the Browns. I mean, it's at home or it's away, which I mean, I'll give you a little bit of leeway there. But Joe Burrow going for 14 completions on 82 yards, you just can't have that happen. No matter how bad your offensive line is,
Wait, are you telling me that the Bengals folded
lost.
because they were worried about people barking? Is that what you're saying? Like the being away
I don't know why they lost.
Like, by the way, that's the one game I hate going to.
I don't blame you.
Have you been to a Browns Bengals game?
Not.
Dude, we went to one a few years ago, Malik.
You were with me.
Sucked.
Shit
sucked. We were out the night before, and they were
Bulldogs,
doing it.
Georgia.
And they were here we go, Brownie. Like they start the whole barking thing, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why are you barking at me? And when I say they do it throughout the entire game, and as they're walking out of the stadium, they're doing this same exact. It got to a point where I just wanted to go home and lay down. Like I really had a headache.
I don't get the. I mean, like, yeah, you know, their color, their name's a color. They're like their mascot's an elf, but they all. I've never understood it. I've always wondered. But like you said, I mean, going there, maybe that's not the reason they lost. Because maybe the barking had something to do with it. I don't know. But Joe Mixon going for 56 yards and no touchdowns doesn't help, and Jamar only getting 39 yards doesn't help. So the team just don't show up against the Browns. You look at the one game they did win the division last year. They won 34-14. It was Jake Browning versus Jeff Driscoll. I'm not really taking that as a win as much as I know I want to. I mean, granted, it was their only one of the only one in the division. I want to take it, but I'm just not going to take it if it's Jeff Driscoll versus Jake Browning. The team just doesn't show up. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're scared to play the Browns, but the Browns and Bengals have both been the bottom feeders of the AFC North for how many years now, and it's weird that that's the team they're scared of. So, I mean, there's nothing that you said that I wasn't going to say, but the Ravens are the threat to the AFC North, I do believe, but to the Bengals, I think winning the two against the Browns will be your best success in winning the AFC North.